okay, so UFC 257, dude. I started right when he gets sour candy. First off, I'm going to say, like, that's why I will never bet on fights.
Yeah.
This is the only sport I follow, and it's the one, like, I'm never betting on fights because all my picks were wrong. Almost every single one of my picks were wrong.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about fighting, too. Anything can happen. Like, I got friends that ask me, like, oh, who you going for? Like, what do you think's going to happen? And I can say one thing, and the total opposite will happen. Like, you can't just be precise with fights.
Like people can be injured.
Yeah.
It's not like a football game where, like, they have a second string, third string. Like, somebody can fill in for that person.
Like the Sean O'Malley fight. Like, everyone thought he was just going to be dominant. Then he tweaked his...
Cheeto Vera?
Yeah. Then he tweaked his ankle, and now he's a meme.
Yeah, there's, like, people said, too, that it was from the kicks of Cheeto that caused that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Sugar said that there was, like, some injury in camp. But let's just talk about the co-main and the main of UFC 257.
Okay.
So, the Chandler Hooker fight. What'd you think?
It was good. I didn't think it was going to happen like that fast in the first round, but Chandler's definitely explosive. My original pick was Chandler, but then I changed to Hooker because I thought he was going to have the jitter still, because UFC is a bigger promotion than Bellator. And a lot of people are saying he wasn't going to do good due to Bellator. I thought he was going to do good. I just thought he would have the stress from UFC. But
Like adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
See, I'm so pissed because I put all my friends onto Michael Chandler. Everybody was like, who is this guy? He's from Bellator. Oh, he sucks. I was like, no. 3-time champ in Bellator. Dude had an amazing trilogy with, like, Eddie Alvarez. At the time, too, they were saying...
Yeah, that's the biggest reason I chose him, too, because I saw he beat, like, Eddie Alvarez, all these killers.
He knocked out Benson Henderson, which is, like... And then, like, you do the MMA math. Like, Benson Henderson, like, beat Nate Diaz, beat Anthony... actually, he never beat Anthony Pettis. But he had, like, he straight up... He fought some monsters in the UFC. Like, at one point in time, I thought he was, like, untouchable in the UFC.
Wasn't he the champion?
Yeah, he's a lightweight champ. Yeah. Anthony Pettis beat him with armbar. But he was dominant as a lightweight champ. So, I was telling everybody, like, dude, Michael Chandler is legit. But for some stupid reason, I get all my friends on him, and then I'm like, I don't know if it was the weigh-in that I saw, because, like, Dan Hooker looked way bigger in the weigh-in.
I mean, he is. He's 6 foot. Like, he's tall.
He's 6 foot? For 155?
I saw this post. I think it was him against, I think, Benavidez or something. Which I know they're not the same weight, but, like, it said he was 6 foot, and Benavidez was, like, 5'2", or something like that.
Dude. But definitely the weigh-in photo I saw, and I was like, okay, he's going to have a reach advantage. I felt like he had a striking advantage. You know, he trains with Israel Adesanya, which, like, right there, you know, he's training with champs. But Michael Chandler trains with Usman, so he also trains with champs. So I guess that's what somebody could argue with that. But, like, I thought surely he took a lot of damage, especially in the 3 fights with Eddie Alvarez. Yeah. I think he won 2 of them, but he took a lot of damage in those fights. And, like, he's been knocked out before in Bellator. So I was like, I wasn't doubtful of the guy because, you know, I follow him on social media and the dude trains like a monster. But I was like, Dan Hooker has been having these wars. Like, yeah, Dan Hooker's had wars too, but he hasn't been getting knocked out, hasn't been getting finished. Michael Chandler's been knocked out and finished in the past. That's why I thought
Chandler wasn't going to win, because literally Daniel Hooker's had just wars with Paul Felder, Dustin Poirier, just getting beat, and he's still just standing.
And I thought Chandler was going to win using wrestling.
Yeah.
And he did not need to use wrestling. I will say, like I told everybody, like as far as striking goes, he's really good at lunging attacks. Like, he lunges in, like, the gazelle hooks, and he throws his straights. Like, he's not the tallest guy, especially for that weight class. Yeah. But he throws his straights, and he, like, covers distance because he lunges forward. And he just has so much explosive training. I thought maybe, like, Dan Hooker would either knock him out or maybe outlast him in a decision. But I'm not going to lie, I was happy to see Chandler win his fight. I didn't want to see him get, like, knocked out early. I didn't want another Ben Askren situation, basically.
I didn't want someone to be hyped up then just
to be let down. Yeah, and like, it also shows, because I'm a humongous UFC fan. We both are. It's the best MMA organization in my opinion. But there's, like, some toxic fans that think if you're in the UFC, you're the absolute best. Which there's some weight to that. Obviously, there's weight to that. But dude, like one championship, and like Bellator, like there's other organizations that have fighters that could make it, like maybe even be champs in UFC.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like
especially one championship. They're just monsters, but barely anyone like hears of them.
Yeah, yeah, and like I think one championship is definitely trying to prove that because they're getting all the UFC fighters they're immediately putting him there with monsters, and then like getting like Sage Northcutt getting his face just shattered. Like,
say, wasn't Eddie Alvarez in there?
Eddie Alvarez got finished too.
The only one that's doing good is Demetrius Johnson, and still, like,
that's because he's a goat.
He's just getting. Yeah. His face is still messed up.
Yeah,
but he's winning.
Yeah, I mean, but he's also a goat. Like that's like the best. And like, and you're saying you've seen him struggle a little bit, and like that's the one of the best. First off, worst trade in sports history is Ben Askren for Demetrius Johnson. I mean,
I don't know what Dana White or UFC.
He wanted revenge. Dude, Dana White wanted revenge. Ben Askren would have killed it if he got in a little bit sooner. But yeah, it's too late. Okay, so then the main event. So Michael Chandler, he like just to go back, he finished it with a great like first round knockout. He kept throwing it straight to the body. And he would throw it straight to the body, and he wouldn't follow it up with anything else. Dan Hooker, I noticed he was trying to do the low calf kicks, kind of like how Michael Chandler got finished like that in Bellator because that nerve got shut down. He got hit with calf kicks, and his foot just gave out, and then eventually got knocked out.
Which is good game plan by both of them.
Yes,
I see where they were going.
But Dan Hooker also like circled the entire time, which I get it. Michael Chandler like was applying pressure. He was in his face from the get-go. But I was just thinking he would probably stick and move more. Like stick, move. But, dude, Chandler was, like, shutting it down. He was in his face. And every once in a while, Chandler would throw his hands up, like you know, come on. Like, and like, I wanted to switch my pick as soon as I saw them walk out because you could tell Chandler was just, like, so happy to be there, so happy to be in the moment. I need to eat this nerd rib because I've been holding it for 5 minutes. But, like, dude.
Same thing. Well, actually, not the same thing, but you could tell on Hooker's face too. He was, I don't know if he was shocked, but he was like sort of nervous. He's like, "Oh, I've never seen footage on this guy. He hasn't been in the UFC. I don't know what. Like, he's new." But like,
I know, yeah.
Scared.
As soon as he walked out, his eyes, like you're saying, he walked out and he like looked at the fans, and like people always say this kind of stuff. See, I was wrong about Dustin Poirier. I thought he looked like that during the press conference. He was just being quiet, evidently, but. When I looked at the press conference, I thought I saw shades of Cowboy versus Conor, where I was like, he's being too respectful.
I didn't see that until the weigh-ins. They weighed in, then Conor got low, then he got low, and I saw.
Their stare down.
Yeah, that's when I switched my pick, because I also had Dustin, but then I was like, no, Conor looked like two in it.
Yeah, Conor was confident. I think in his head, he definitely had it going one way, and it did not go that way at all.
I think Dustin surprised him in the first.
Yeah.
With takedown.
But the going back to the Michael Chandler real quick, like. He kept establishing octagon control. I mean, he was pushing the pressure the entire time, and he kept throwing those deep straights to the body, and he just kept chasing him down. And Dan Hooker kept moving away. I don't know if, and it could be mental warfare, but like Dan Hooker has been susceptible to body attacks in the past, especially in his fight with Edson Barbosa. That's what finished him, was a TKO to the body. Well, I don't know if Chandler probably was like, okay, he knows I've studied film on him. He probably knows I'm going to attack the body. So he was throwing that straight to the body. And then so I think he did like almost like a reverse psychology where he's like, he's going to think I'm going to be going for the body. I'm going to go for the head. Because he was establishing that pattern of a straight to the body, straight to the body, straight to the body. And then he just comes over with that I mean, like I keep seeing these freeze frames on the UFC page and like on Twitter. Yeah. I mean, like he caught him at the end of the left hook, like right at the end of it. Like no length was wasted. I mean, he hit him perfect in the chin with it. So like, beautiful finish. I mean, you can't really have a better introduction into the UFC. Right. Like Michael Chandler is definitely in the mix. Like the doubters, I think they know now that like he's in it for real.
Yeah, definitely like finishing a beast like Dan Hooker because we know he can take punishment.
Yes.
Like I said, Paul Felder, Dustin Poirier, they couldn't finish him.
Like Dustin Poirier can even knock him out. Like they had an amazing war. It's nothing against Dustin Poirier, but it's like. They couldn't finish Dan Hooker, and then here's Chandler. Like, that's scary power. Yeah. Scary power. So, that's the Michael Chandler fight. Now, the Conor versus Dustin fight. What do you think?
It was a good fight. Again, I'm glad it went the way it did. I'm glad Dustin won, because I would have been sad if Dustin lost. because all this work than just to lose. Yeah, nothing really bad about that fight. I wish I kept my pick with Dustin, but that's fighting.
I will say,
Can't stick with anything.
I switched my pick with the Michael Chandler and Dan Hooker fight. I thought Chandler was going to win. I went against my instinct, and I was like, I'll go Dan Hooker. This one, all of my instinct was that Conor was going to win again. Like, I'm not even going to lie. I wanted Dustin Poirier to win because I love Dustin Poirier. I've been a fan of his for a while. Like, as far back as the first fight I remember him having was probably when he submitted Max Holloway with the mounted triangle choke and the armbar. But like, I've always liked the guy. Like, I wanted him to win, but I just thought Conor was in his element. I thought Conor. I explained to you. I was like, Dustin Poirier, his fights, he's throwing a lot of combos, and mainly in these combos, they're like hooks and uppercuts, which obviously take away some distance. I was like, Conor's style is he's really good at distance management. He's almost like a fencer with the sword, where he's in and out, and then he catches you with a straight shot on the outside. Like, he's really good at distance management. So I thought he was going to be able to catch Dustin like he did in the first one, straight shot on the outside. That's just what I pictured, and I also thought he was too powerful for Dustin. Again, wanted Dustin to win, but I thought Conor was going to win. And dude, I mean, that fight had me shook. That surprised me. I think it surprised everybody. I mean, especially the casuals that were tuning in, like, for Conor to win. But dude, so like from the walkout, I would say they both seemed confident. Starting at the press conference, like I said, I thought Dustin looked nervous. That was a humongous misread on my part. I thought I saw shades of Cowboy versus Conor. I was wrong. Then the walkout, both seemed hyped, both seemed confident. You know, our dad watched it with us, and he mentioned something about like, oh, Dustin's not even gonna. He's like, Dustin's not even looking at Conor. He knows he's gonna get knocked out again. And I was like, yeah, maybe, but like, every fighter's different. That I felt like, if anything, he was kind of getting into his own element. I was like, when the fight starts, he'll be in it. But for now, he's just got to concentrate, look away, and everything.
I feel like he didn't let Conor get in his mind, because I feel like that's what Conor's his main strat is, to play mind games, and get in people's mind. Like,
well, I saw what he said. I don't know if you saw, but what he said to Conor backstage. He told him, he's like, your coach was right, because John Kavanagh, which is Conor McGregor's head coach, kept saying, I don't care what you say. If you get knocked out, that's going to stick in your head. Like, if you get knocked out by somebody, that's going to be in your head no matter what, even if you had a really good training camp. And I agreed with that. And Dustin agreed with it. He told Conor afterwards, he's like, yeah, your coach was right. You know, I can't forget it, but I can forgive myself. So basically he's saying he made peace with himself, because I imagine he beat himself up about that. He came in emotional in that first fight. But, yeah, so good performance by him. He came in. They both looked confident. He wasn't looking or whatever, but I didn't read too much into that. And the fight starts, and Conor comes out aggressive from the get-go. Like, Herb Dean had to back him up. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that. He had to back him up.
Then he kept running, and I guess Herb Dean didn't see it or something. He
ran forward. I remember he threw some shots. He hit Dustin with some shots, and then they get in the clinch almost like immediately, I believe. I don't know if the takedown happened before the clinch or the clinch and then the takedown later, but Dustin had a really good takedown. As soon as I saw that, I was obviously impressed, but I was like, oh my God. Like,
I think it was the takedown, which led to him Conor getting against the fence. Then it led to the clinch.
Yeah, because we were talking about, like, it had shades of Khabib when Khabib was on him. And yeah, I was impressed with both guys. I was like, okay, Conor, you can read on his face, he stays calm when he gets taken down. Like, he did the same thing against Khabib, like, where he was trying to manage his energy, and he's like, you can tell he relaxes his body, relaxes his mind. And with Dustin, I was like, dude, that was a beautiful. I wasn't expecting it. Obviously, Conor wasn't expecting it. He usually doesn't wrestle. You know, he likes to stand and scrap.
Honestly, I think that's what was the beginning of his downfall too, because Conor said he's going to finish him in 60 seconds, and just, you know, how you sit something in mind, then if you don't do it, you feel like a failure. Yeah. I feel like that's what happened. He was like, oh, well, I can't do that. Well, I'm just going to lose.
Well, especially with Conor, when his whole game revolves around that, about showmanship and, like, talking smack, and, like, his whole game. I mean, that's why he is. A lot of people say that he's the GOAT, and there's arguments for it. I personally don't think he's the GOAT. I will say he's the GOAT at like marketing yourself as a fighter, putting yourself out there, and like getting the casuals, getting like the hardcore fans. Like he's the best at marketing himself, and then off of that, branching out into like different businesses. And you know, he's an entrepreneur for sure. No, don't get me wrong, dude. Like the dude is a fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's an amazing fighter. But
He definitely knows how to strike.
yes, his striking's ridiculous. His timing is what it is, and that's what I was saying. That's what. And then let's go back to they were clinched against the fence. They're both trading those shoulder shots,
Which I got scared because I thought it was gonna be a cowboy again. Because I thought he broke his nose for a second.
Oh yeah,
his shoulder strikes are just too vicious.
he literally
He
jumped.
just jumps.
He made a post about it one time where he talks about he like angles himself and then he like launches himself like a human rocket with his freaking bony ass shoulders. You know, like. But Dustin was throwing him right back, and that's when they started talking crap to each other. They started talking shit, and I think Dustin started getting some respect from Conor right then. Fight-wise, obviously they had respect before, but he definitely got some of Conor's respect as he was like talking shit in his ear. So then they separate. I will say Dustin had good control. I mean, he was twisting that arm. He had that outside hook, and he was like, I thought he was going to try to break Conor's arm as they were like clinched like that. But as far as strikes go in the clinch, Conor had the more powerful shoulder strikes. They back away, and Conor is like tagging him with the straight shots. Like I said, I was like, he's going to be tagging him with the straight shots because his timing, it's not like he's the fastest, but his timing is like impeccable. Like he catches you, and it's almost like it's like he's mastered the basics. It's like awkward timing to where like you're like ready to go, and then like you get hit, and then like by the time you counter, he's gone. But finally, after a few shots, you know, Dustin started getting a little damaged. He hit him with a good check lead hook, and it like it wobbled Conor for sure. Like it got Conor's respect, and it rocked him. Like I think that was also the beginning of the end. Yeah. And then that's when, you know, Dustin started mixing in those low calf kicks.
Right then, that's when Dustin started getting like Conor's timing down. He's like, okay, now this is when he's gonna throw this, and this is when I'm gonna counter.
Yeah, and that's why he pointed to him too, and he said, "I got you now." And Conor kind of played it off. But like I told you, anytime a fighter reacts, whether it's like, "Oh, that didn't hurt" or whatever, like that, it meant something. Even any kind of reaction you get where they're like, "Oh, that didn't hurt," or "Oh, you missed," like it. There's a meaning behind that usually.
And I think Conor was also, he wasn't used to getting like smack talk back to him. Yeah, he had like Diaz fight, but still like he got hit good by a shake hook. Then like he was like, oh, okay, now I got you.
Yeah. Diaz mainly just like pointed in the fight.
Yeah.
Khabib definitely trash talked him, but it's different because Khabib was trash talking him in his own world, whereas Dustin was standing with him, which is Conor's world, and like talking trash him as which. Mentally, he got in there. Dustin found some cracks for sure. And the leg kicks, I mean...
all round 1 and round 2. I feel like he snuck those in to the calf. Yeah.
I mean, and like, calf kicks are making a huge statement in MMA right now. Like, everybody's starting to do them, and that's definitely... I saw a post, too. It was like, imagine Justin Gaichi throwing leg kicks on Conor. If you thought those were hard. Because Justin Gaichi has... I mean, he just chops like he's chopping at a tree, dude. Like he's trying to take you down. And then he gets immobilized. It seems Conor, like he's definitely not as springy, and he's like getting against the fence. And that's when Dustin finishes off with he just starts unloading the hooks and uppercuts, like I was saying.
Yeah, I believe Conor had him against the cage. Then either Dustin veers to the right. I don't know if he hits them and gets to the right, but he somehow gets to the right, and he notices like Conor is not be able to like be mobile. He can't like turn around as fast.
And I think he threw a leg kick as Conor threw it straight, and it landed perfect, and then that kind of turned Conor around, and then that's when Dustin unloaded that combo. And the shot that put him on his ass was when he's getting tagged. Conor like ducks, like he tries to duck. I don't know, like I didn't really see any weave movement. I think he just ducked. So as he ducks, Dustin landed a right hook. It almost looked like right to his forehead. Put him on his butt. And then the follow-up shots is what like completely like disconnected him from his consciousness, put him asleep. And that's when the memes start pouring in. So many memes. And the casuals just jump shit. But I mean, I was like, And I predicted wrong. I thought Conor was going to win, but I was so happy to be wrong. Like, I wanted Dustin to win it. I didn't want it. Like, I wanted, if anything, like, if Dustin was to lose, I was like, okay, a late stoppage or maybe, like, a decision. Like,
yeah, I was the same way.
I want him to have a performance he's proud of. I don't want him getting caught in the first again or anything like that. And it was he was emotional. Like, it was good respect between the two afterwards, too.
I would definitely say Conor is a better sportsman, like, than the past.
Oh.
He's definitely, like, all right, I lost. Those leg kicks or something else. Like, it immobilized my game. He's definitely a better sportsman than he used to be.
Yeah, he used to be, like, you could tell he was wild, young and dumb, as he says. I think maybe he learned from all this, you know, hitting an old man and, like, all this bad publicity he's been getting and, like, getting arrested. I think he's took something from it. And also, I think just owning businesses and now having a family. Dude, he's professional. Like, he didn't cry, didn't say boo-hoo me. Like, he was, like, he's able to separate himself and look at his own performance and be like, okay. And, like, he even says the trilogy would be cool. So, fast forward, Dustin wins. He proclaims that he's the better boxer than Max Holloway. That's what he said. He says, like, we're 1-1 now. I wouldn't mind giving Conor another chance. So he says he wouldn't mind fighting Conor. And he says he wouldn't mind fighting Nate Diaz. Because they were scheduled to fight twice now, I believe. And it never fell through. And they went back and forth on social media like crazy. So those are both interesting. But I would say, if I had to make a lightweight tournament now, like, where to go from here now that the fights are over, this is what I think. And I'm going to let you build it if Khabib stays champ. I'm going to let you build that one. This is if Khabib isn't champ anymore, which Dana White did say that he thinks it's looking negative, like Khabib's not going to stay champ. So I've got Oliveira fighting Poirier, which there's some controversy because everybody's like, why not Chandler? Like, everybody's already asking Chandler. Poirier didn't want to fight Chandler. He had a good reason. He's like, dude, he just got in here. I've had 20-something fights in the UFC. He just got in. He got a good finish, but I beat that guy too. I think it would sell better than Oliveira versus Poirier just because more people know Chandler. But Oliveira's like on an 8-fight win streak.
He deserves it, definitely.
Yes.
Like,
7 finishes, and the only one he didn't finish, he just wiped the floor with Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson wasn't in that fight once.
At the beginning. Like,
yeah.
He just
poured it on him.
Yeah.
He just poured it on him. And it was in Tony's world. Like, everybody was saying, like, they wanted to see Tony versus Khabib because Tony's got the best jiu-jitsu in the game, is what people were saying.
Think that's the match that I was finally like, all right, if Tony forced Khabib, he wouldn't even have stood a chance because Oliveira just wiped the floor with him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people came to that realization too. Like, Khabib would have won that for sure. And, like, I like the picture. Maybe Tony would, like, be throwing the elbows from the bottom, cut Khabib, you know, all that. But, like, Khabib would have probably hurt Tony.
That's what I'm thinking.
As much as I like Tony. So, Oliveira versus Poirier. I think that should be for the belt. And this is, again, if Khabib is like, actually done. Like, if he's retired, Oliveira versus Poirier.
Which I saw a post
for the belt.
I don't know if it's true, but Khabib was like, oh, I'm getting ready for my soccer game, if anyone's interested. Which it could just be a joke, but he posted it talking about how he wants to go to soccer now.
He also, like, he wants to compete in soccer?
Yeah. And he's, like, running in, like, basically sand. It looked like a beach.
I feel like that had to be a joke.
Yeah,
Bro, do not go to soccer, bro. Like, stick to your lane. Just beat bears like you usually do. Beat humans and beat bears. Like, that's what you were made to do. He's crazy, man. Yeah, and I saw some tweets, too. Like, he's not interested. That's what he told Dana. But, I don't know. We'll see. He's not interested in returning to MMA. So, Oliveira versus Poirier. Who do you think would win that?
You said Oliveira versus Poirier? That is a hard one.
That is tough.
I want to say Poirier wins that one, though.
I would definitely be rooting for Poirier in that fight.
Because Poirier did, I mean, it didn't last long, but against Khabib's wrestling, which I think is better than Oliveira, he did do decent against Khabib. He almost choked him out. And he
rocked him.
Yeah, and he rocked him.
On the stand-up. Yeah.
So I think he'll beat Oliveira if it goes to that.
That was definitely the closest Khabib has ever been to losing a fight. Not just getting rocked, but the choke. The choke was, like many people have said, I'm sure everybody's heard this, like Khabib was desperate to get out of that because he rolled through his back.
And that's like the one thing you don't do.
Yeah, you don't do that. that's like a Hail Mary. Like, okay, I'm about to die. Get out of this.
Yeah.
So I respect that. I'll also go Poirier. I'll say Poirier by knockout, by finish. Mm-hmm. Oliveira's on one right now. Like, he's not even. He's definitely like, this is the best he's ever looked.
Yeah.
But like, looking back to his record, like Cowboy beat him. He's been beat in the past. Mm-hmm. And MMA, like, again, MMA math doesn't always work, but I think Poirier could beat Oliveira.
Yeah.
You look at all the people that Poirier's beat, and it's.
I know, like you said, or like you told me, Poirier's got like one of the best records, and like I believe it's up there. Him beat Max, he beat McGregor, he beat Gaichi, he's beaten
Eddie Alvarez,
yeah,
Anthony Pettis, and this was like a younger Anthony Pettis. Mm-hmm. Yeah, beat Max twice. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. So Oliveira versus Poirier, that's for the belt. That's if Khabib is truly out. Now for Conor, I think they set up Conor versus Nate 3. Mm-hmm. I think that's good for both guys as far as legacy, money. It brings in, again, the casuals again. It brings in more views. And also I think it's winnable. It's definitely winnable for Conor, in my opinion.
I don't know about Nate, because
he's been out of the game, dude.
He has been out of the game.
His last fight was against Masvidal.
Yeah.
In which, again, I don't think he had one moment in the fight. Mm-hmm. You know, he made the meme of him punching upwards, hitting Masvidal, and then he was like, this is when he wanted to quit. I mean, that, dude, are you serious? That's the biggest stretch I've ever seen in anybody tweet about.
I like the Diaz brothers. I think they're definitely about it. They like to scrap. But it's, I don't know, it's just a whole new generation of fighting.
Exactly. How do you, so you say Conor wins that? Mm-hmm. How do you think Conor wins it?
Probably by TKO.
TKO? I imagine they would make it a 5-round match. I don't think he's going to settle for a co-main event. Mm-hmm. So a 5-round match, what round do you think he TKOs him in?
Now that I think about it, I can't imagine Diaz getting TKO'd. I feel like he'd get beat like to a pulp.
No, Conor's dropped him. He's dropped him a few times,
that is true.
He always gets up.
I feel like it would go to decision. Because even with, like, the Jorge Masvidal fight, he was getting whooped, and he was still going with a swollen eye. Like,
Okay. So you said Conor by decision.
Yeah.
Kind of like the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say, my prediction, I'd probably say Conor, second round knockout. I think that's like gonna be the first time you see Nate get
like
knocked out, like put to sleep. I think Conor will come back, and I agree with Dana White where he's like, Conor needs to pull a Rocky 3, where like in Rocky 3, if you haven't seen it, he's rich and it's hard to wake up and train. He ends up getting beat by clubbers. So basically, he has to like throw all that away, go back to his roots, and train like he's a bum again. I think that's what Conor needs to do. Like it's hard to wake up 4 a.m. in the morning and go for a run when it's like you've got more than hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. Like it's hard to be motivated like that. I think he loves the fight. It's just, does he have that same ferocity?
Because I mean, now he really doesn't have anything to fight for. He's been champ, like he's beating these people. It's like, what motivates him?
He said highlights in the press conference, which. That'd be cool if it was true. And obviously he does want highlights. It's just like getting those highlights. Yeah. You know, like you're going against people who don't have $100 million in the bank. But I do think, so if he pulls a Rocky 3, I think he could probably stop Nate. Just because we haven't seen Nate in there in a while. And he took some damage from Jorge. Yeah. And I think Conor will form a better game plan. He doesn't want to, I don't think he wants to be subject to the scrutiny he's getting right now again. Yeah. So I think he's definitely going to take that serious.
Which sucks, because, like, he's a good fighter. He's been on the top. Yes. People that should be on the top don't deserve to be like, oh, now you're the worst since you lost one fight.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I mean, he lost to Khabib. Okay, everybody who Khabib has fought.
Exactly.
Him lost. Well, it's his style.
And this is also where, like, the casuals come in, like, oh, okay, well, since he just lost, he's not the best anymore. So they just jump ship, like you said.
Well, it's like we said, how his game revolves around talking trash and like being a big hype guy. He brings in more people. with that style, it's high risk, high reward. So if you talk a lot of trash and you win, dude, you're a legend. You get a bunch of following. But if you do the same thing and then lose, or you don't perform up to like expectation, you're a laughing stock. You're a meme. Like people make fun of you. So I don't think he's done. I still think he's got a lot left in him. If he wants to fight, that is. It's all up to him. It's his mentality and stuff. I think he's got a very strong mentality. I'll say that much. He might have got knocked out, but he will come back. He definitely will come back. So I say Conor versus Nate 3. I think Conor wins. Second, maybe third. I definitely want to say second. I think, again, once you get in 3, 4, 5, that's Nate's territory. So Conor wins that one. Okay. This next one I think the winner of this one should fight whoever wins the Oliveira versus Poirier for the belt. I have Gaichi versus Chandler.
I like that fight.
I like that fight too. Honestly, out of all these fights I'm reading, that one even excites me more than the Oliveira Poirier.
Yeah.
Like, that one is the most exciting.
Honestly, I was thinking about, because I retweeted and liked your post, but I was thinking about like who would win that one, and I couldn't come up with a decision. I want to say Gaichi, but I just haven't seen much of Michael Chandler to decide that factor.
Yeah, it's still hard to tell because he caught Hooker moving away. He caught him with an explosive shot, and Dan Hooker was moving away.
Yeah,
Gaichi won't be doing that. Gaichi will be. I know everybody remembers his last one with Khabib. He was moving away. That was Khabib. That's a different scenario. I think Gaichi comes forward, and I think
I feel like it's a brawl.
I think it's going to be a brawl.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a
Trading
brawl.
blows. I'm going to go with Gaichi, because Gaichi, he's taken bigger shots from bigger people and still stand. Like, he's taking punishment. The fight with Tony Ferguson, too. He went 5 rounds, still had power.
Yes.
He finished them on his feet. Like, I'll probably go Gaichi.
I was so impressed with that fight. Yeah. How he still had crack. He finished Tony in the 5th, or it was the 5th or the 4th. And like, his punches still had crack behind them. Like, that surprised me the most out of anything. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Gaichi. Yeah. Even though I like Chandler, I want to see him. I hope he rebounds.
He's definitely a good prospect for the UFC.
Oh, yeah, dude. He's not past his prime. He's in there. He's in there to win it. He's in there to get to the belt for sure. So I think Gaichi wins versus Chandler. Maybe a TKO, but in the later rounds, like we said, after a brawl, after they both take damage.
They'll definitely be trading blows. One, if not both, probably get robbed.
I feel like Gaichi will get hurt.
Yeah.
Especially
that's what I thought was going to happen during the Michael Chandler and Hooker fight. I thought he's going to use his wrestling and Hooker was just going to throw one of those explosive knees, but we didn't get the chance to see that. It was just over in the first couple seconds.
Yeah, we didn't go into that. That's also something that we both thought was going to beat Chandler, was that Hooker has these knees that are basically replacements for uppercuts. Like, the way he throws these knees, I've never seen somebody throw them like that. And that would be... And honestly, he looked for it at one point. It looked like he definitely looked for it, but he didn't even get the chance to throw it. Because that's the kind of stuff you want to throw against a wrestler, is stuff right up the middle.
I think that was his game plan. Take out the legs, then wait to the wrestling and throw the knees. But
did not get a chance. Chandler, I mean, was just... He just got up in his space. I mean, just constant pressure. Man, I'm excited to see more of Chandler. The Chandler Gaichi fight, this one, I don't honestly want either guy to lose. I like both guys. I wish it would be like a draw and they could both just move up and then go their separate ways. But I would probably pick Gaichi to win. I'm going to be mad at myself if Chandler wins that one too, because that's going to be twice that I picked against them. And then the final fight I have, so I put Dan Hooker versus Paul Felder 2.
I like that one.
But I'm also thinking you could substitute either one of those with Tony Ferguson, just depending on the timeline of when he comes back. You could do like Tony Ferguson versus Dan Hooker. You could do Tony Ferguson versus Paul Felder. But for right now, I'm thinking Hooker versus Felder 2.
I think Hooker versus Felder 2 matches up better than Ferguson. I feel like Ferguson either needs to take a Cowboy fight, even though he just beat Cowboy. I feel like he needs to
A lot of people are talking about him fighting Islam, which I think his name's Islam Makhachev. I think he's like in the top 10. I can't tell you his exact ranking, but Tony Ferguson's 5 right now. But I like the Paul Felder Dan Hooker fight. Honestly,
Me too.
The first one was very controversial. It was a war.
Yeah, I thought Paul Felder won that one, even though they said the takedown in the last round won Dan Hooker the fight, but I feel like Paul Felder won majority of the match.
Okay. Yeah, I had to say I agree. Most people I've talked to also agree. I haven't heard one person really say. Now they said like Dan Hooker obviously had a good fight.
Don't get me wrong, it was a back and forth
Yeah.
war. You know, it was a just brawl back and forth. But I feel like Paul got majority of the rounds.
Now I have not seen the fight yet. As much as a fight fan I am,
It was a great fight.
I think that night I saw the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 2 fight, and then I wasn't even able to watch the Dan Hooker one, but I saw the results afterwards. It looked like Paul Felder had more damage, like he was wearing more damage, but obviously that doesn't win a fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing people saying that Paul Felder definitely won that one. I think it'd be good for both guys because again, I think it'd be another good fight.
Yeah.
I think the second one might be just as good as the first, if not better. And because I think Felder has something to prove. I think in his head he's like, I won that fight, and
I feel like either way that'll get them both back in the rankings. They'll be up there with top prospects.
Yeah.
Maybe fighting for the belt, if not, close to be fighting for the belt.
So who do you think wins that one?
That's hard to say. I want to say Felder. I'm probably just gonna go Felder.
Felder?
Yeah.
That would be nice. Felder does need a win. That's what's sad about that fight, though. It's like they both need wins. Because if Felder wins, then Dan Hooker is coming off of, what is that, a 3-loss streak?
Yeah.
So I would probably be rooting on Felder to win that. I would want Felder to win that. How?
I'm just a Felder fan. I'm fans of both, but just since Felder is just a warrior. Like, ever since he, I forgot he was fighting, but he threw a spinning back fist and broke his forearm and just kept throwing it.
Mike Perry.
Yeah.
That was Mike Perry.
He was just, he's a different breed. He's an animal.
Yeah, that, probably an even more savage moment is when he was fighting James Vick.
You told him when he broke his ribs?
He broke his ribs. Yes, it literally punctured his lung, which kills like most people when that happens to them. But he kept fighting, and then he got hospitalized afterwards, and he won by decision. But like, yeah, Paul Felder's a warrior. I would go Paul Felder too. I'd probably say decision. I think he wins a decision. I think he beats Dan Hooker by decision.
Okay.
Just because I still think Dan Hooker's game. The shot he got caught with, I think it puts away almost anybody. And the most dangerous thing is it was a shot he didn't see coming. It was that straight to the body, the left hook up top, and it just put him down. And then those follow-up shots were just equally as vicious. I mean,
I did not like seeing that. I was like, God dang it.
Yeah, I know. It's rough. It's rough because lightweight is like the most competitive division. I'm a fan of so many of the guys.
Me too.
They have to lose. Some of them have to lose, Okay. So that was our review for the UFC 257, the co-main and the main.
Now, you want to do if Khabib still is champ?
Yes. Yeah, we'll quickly run through those since we got the picks down for that one. We'll almost do like a snap answer with it,
Right. I say if Khabib's still champ, I say he faces Oliveira, see who's the better grappler or wrestler, which I think Khabib comes out on top on that still.
So you think Khabib beats Oliveira?
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think he also beats Oliveira, and like where you're going. It's also in my mind. I think most people would disagree with you because they want that Poirier rematch.
Yeah.
But I think also UFC wants a fresh fight.
After that match, Khabib will probably retire or maybe he stays in the game. But if he stays in the game, Poirier versus Gaichi in 2.
Okay.
See who wins that, gets Khabib again. Then after that, we have Michael Chandler and McGregor.
Okay.
I feel like that'd make it good.
Michael Chandler versus McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting pick. I like that pick. That's a good pick. I think Michael Chandler will also welcome that fight. I think so will Conor.
Yeah. Then
It's good.
for the other ones, I said Diaz, Ferguson, and Hooker and Felder.
Diaz versus Ferguson?
Yeah.
And Hooker versus Felder.
Yeah.
So we covered Hooker versus Felder. Diaz versus Ferguson. I've already told you this. I love that fight.
Yeah.
Two durable guys.
Cardio for days.
Cardio for days.
Don't give up.
High volume guys. Both great jiu-jitsu. I don't know who I can tell you wins that
We
one.
can be there.
I really don't know who I really don't know.
Because they both sort of have the same style. Like, they just throw punches and bunches.
I'll definitely say...
I'll say Ferguson's got elbows. That does damage.
And I was going to say, he's more unpredictable. He throws shit. Yeah. What he throws, like, technique is really not behind. Like, his technique... If you were looking at it from a striker standpoint, you're like, the technique is not there. He keeps his chin up, hands down, and he throws just from awkward places.
Yeah, it's
but
almost
that's
like
why he beats people.
Cowboy. Because I saw them fight. I was like, oh, they're... like exactly the same. They both stand straight up, like head straight up.
Yeah, I'll say Cowboy has good technique when it comes to kicking and tie, but I know what you're saying. His biggest weak, like a lot of people.
I'm just saying, like stance wise, not
stance wise.
Yeah,
yeah. He keeps his. They definitely keep both their chin up. Head movement is not always. He's had fights where he has head movement and he wins, but like, yeah, the head move. He usually keeps his head straight up in there, and he'll get tagged for every once in a while. Now, so I feel like we got to pick a winner. We can't move on until we pick a winner. I'll say Tony Ferguson.
That's who I was honestly going to go with. Because I feel like to beat Ferguson, you have to have power like Gaichi.
Yeah.
And even with power, you saw Tony didn't want to go out. Like, he physically had to shake his head. Like, he kept fighting, but he was shaking his head like, I don't want to do this no more.
I would love to see that fight. I would love to see Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz. And
honestly, I feel like it'd be decision too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Tony Ferguson decision. Good fight. I think they both have their marks, but I think Tony wins it. Okay, so that was that one. The next one would be Conor versus Chandler. I would want Michael Chandler to win that fight.
Me too. But I feel like it'll be Otto versus McGregor. Just like that. I feel like Chandler...
You think Conor catches him coming in?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a possibility.
Because like the Hooker fight, he was energetic. He was like coming punching in there. And Conor does good with people like that.
Yeah.
Like keep staying on the outside, picking at him.
If he could return to his regular, like the younger Conor, and he could get in his head, he could trash talk Chandler. Chandler seems to have, though to have an iron will. Like his nickname suggests, iron. Like,
but it's interesting because they're both acceptable to those lower calf kicks.
Yeah, he just lost one, and then Chandler just lost one. Conor definitely has more in his arsenal, in my opinion. If I had to put my life savings on the fight, dude, I don't know. It's hard now seeing him lose to Poirier. You know, you have because it's like, could Chandler do the exact same thing to Conor that Dustin Poirier just did?
I don't think so, because I don't think he would throw as many kicks
in the clinch. In the wrestling, Chandler, I would say, is even stronger than Poirier. I
would say wrestling. Striking, I don't think he stands a chance. But
I'll go Chandler second round TKO. I was gonna say Conor, but I would root for Chandler, and I would also I'd back him.
I'd probably go Conor second round.
Say Conor second round. See, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that too, but in my head, I have maybe Chandler wrestling him some and wearing him down, and then the second maybe catching him with some strikes, catching him with some punches as they're standing up. Okay, that's that one. What was the next one? You said...
I feel like that was it.
You said Gaichi versus Dustin Poirier. I think Dustin wins that one again.
Yeah, me too.
It's a really good fight, though. I think it's a good war. I like the first one they had, but I think Dustin Poirier wins it. Third round TKO.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Agree. Okay, next one would be Khabib Oliveira. I think Khabib smashes Oliveira. I think he smashes him.
Maybe even first round.
You think first round?
Maybe.
I think it's a very interesting fight, though. People, like, Oliveira's the dark horse of the division. People don't...
They don't really know him.
Yeah, they don't. And, like he's Brazilian. He's not outspoken, so, like, the media doesn't cover him.
Because he's just going on the streak, too.
Yeah. And, like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that I told you so guy. But when the UFC, when Khabib first was talking about backing out of the business, and the UFC kept putting up these like posters, it would be like Dan Hooker, Conor, Poirier, Gaichi. It had a list of killers, and Tony Ferguson, like all of them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why is Oliveira not even pictured? At the time, he had 7-fight win streak, all finishes, and I'm like, and then like so now he just beat Tony Ferguson, and people still aren't really talking about him. He's a threat. He's definitely
that's why
a
I'm
threat.
a bit worried when he fights Dustin, because I'm like, he's got motivation. He's like, I gotta be known. Mm-hmm. People gotta know me somehow. So I think by beating big people, that's how he gets.
I feel more comfortable with Poirier fighting Conor McGregor again.
Yeah.
I feel more comfortable with him fighting Gaichi, and I feel more comfortable with him fighting Chandler than him fighting Oliveira. Mm-hmm. I think Oliveira, honestly, I think most people are trying to avoid him. Mm-hmm. His skill set, his stand-up is so technical. Yeah. And then his ground game is his strength. Is amazing. Yeah, his jiu-jitsu is
the way insane. He just stopped Tony. I was like, well,
I mean that one bar anybody would tap, but Tony Ferguson is legally insane.
He's
so
yeah,
there's some good fights coming up on lightweight. Love the division.
I know it's stacked. Like Dana White said, like that's his favorite division, or that's the division that has the most just potential
talent. Like always has. Now, before we end this, do you want to go ahead and put the picks for the next week's fights?
Yes.
You do, or do you want to do that on a separate video?
We'll go ahead and do it on this one.
Yeah, we'll edit it later, even if we don't want it on here. Okay. So, we go to this app. February 6th. That's going to be in 2 weeks.
Yep.
We'll still talk about it. The only two I have right now listed.
That's going to be in 2 weeks?
Yeah, February 6th.
Oh, yeah.
The only two I have are Frankie Edgar versus Corey Sanhagen and Aleister Overeem versus Alexander Volkov. Mm-hmm. Both are exciting matches. Go ahead and tell me what you think.
I'm saying Overeem, KO, third round.
Third round, okay.
I'm saying Sanhagen, even though I love Frankie. Frankie's my guy, but Sanhagen, like, he beat Marlon Morales, which is the one-punch man. I was like, oh, he's something.
That was your boy, dude.
Yeah.
That was your boy.
I rooted on him, on Henry Cejudo. I wanted him to win that fight so bad.
Okay. So yes, we have. Oh, there's some pretty good fights.
And I'll probably say Sanhagen KO second round.
Sanhagen KO second round.
Yeah, and I'm changing the Overeem probably to second round as well, since it's like
heavyweight. 5-round fight. So my pick, Sanhagen. I think now you got to remember too, Sanhagen's coming off of a good knockout on Marlon Moraes, spinning back kick. Mm-hmm. Before that, he got choked out by Aljamain Sterling because he got wrestled. Frankie Edgar's a good wrestler. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm still going to go Corey Sanhagen, late first round stoppage, most likely by knockout. Frankie Edgar's been through wars. He's a legend. I love the guy. I just think he's taken a lot of damage in his career, and Corey Sanhagen is on the come up.
Mm-hmm. I know. I've always wanted to see him chant, but I don't think it's going to be possible.
Like again? Yeah. Like be champ again? Yeah. I mean, this is his new weight class too, so he's 135. He came from 155, then he went to 145, and now he's at 135. And it's mean how Jose Aldo just keeps following him. And it's like, dude, can you let him be? Like, anytime he's like, all right, I'm going in the weight class, here comes Jose Aldo. They've already fought like twice, I think, now. There's other good fights, like Benyol Dariush, who's coming off of some good wins. He's fighting Carlos Diego Ferreira. I'm picking Benyol Dariush.
Yeah, that's the guy. He has black hair. Came back from that one fight. He was like getting robbed.
Yes,
and, hit the other dude.
Yes, dude. I'm rooting on him strictly from that performance. I love that. That was a good performance.
It was a great comeback too, dude. I was not expecting that.
Here's another one: Clay Guido versus Michael Johnson.
Michael Johnson.
I think Michael Johnson knocks out Clay Guida. His hand speed, I think he's got the fastest hands in the game.
Yeah.
Fastest hands in the game.
Over Cody?
Okay. I was just about to say, except for Cody Garbrandt. Except for Cody Garbrandt. Yeah. Maybe they're equal. Who knows? Now, my pick for Volkov versus Overeem. Mm-hmm. What was Overeem's last fight?
Wasn't it?
Because I know Volkov just lost to...
It was that guy whose daughter went, like, missing.
Oh, Harris? Walt Harris.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
I know. I did not like that. I was like, dang.
Yeah, I was rooting for Overeem to lose that. Not because it was Overeem, but because Walt Harris just had such a tragedy happen in his life. Total of 66 mixed martial arts fights, 14 kickboxing fights. I mean...
He's been through it, dude. He's a beast.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Beat Brock Lesnar when he was still good.
But I do think he's... Yeah, while he was juiced to the gills. Yeah. I mean, so many steroids. All the steroids.
In a freaking just mean way, too. Didn't it? Brock Lesnar just come back.
He had just had a GI tract surgery. He was just like, just kicked to the body. I was like, dang, dude, you can't like none to the head, maybe to the leg or something. No, to the gut. No, actually, he beat Augusto Sakai, which I think that dude came off the Contender Series.
Yeah, that's Wait, is his last name S-A-K-I?
S-A-K-A-I.
Yeah.
He beat him by TKO, elbows and punches, in the 5th round, which is impressive for a heavyweight. Then he beat Walt Harris. He had a knockout loss against Rosenstruck. Now he was winning that fight up until that happened, and the referee called it because the cut was so bad, and he did get dropped. But he was like, "Dude, I was still in it. It was the 5th round. I was good." There was 4 seconds left on the clock.
Dude, I'd be mad.
I'd be. And then before that, he beat Alexei Olenek. That's the dude with the weird ass haircut. Great submissions. And he beat Sergey Pavlovich. So I mean, those losses could be justifiable. Like he could have won that. Before that, he lost to Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades beat him for sure, but Curtis Blades is good. Like, I mean, he's up there. He's always going to be up there. And he also lost to Francis Ngannou. That's when he got his head sent into orbit. It'll never come back down. But before that, beat Fabricio Verdum and beat Mark Hunt. So I'm definitely going Overeem. I think he's still motivated despite having all these fights. Like he said, this is his last run of the championship. I think he beats Volkov. I'm going to say late, just like these other ones are like saying in the 5th round. I'll say 3rd or 4th round around that time. And it's going to be most likely like a TKO. I like Volkov too. Like he's a tall guy. Like I want to say he's got good distance management, but that one loss to Derek Lewis always gets on my like. Yeah,
because he does so good. Then he just makes like.
He threw a leg kick. He threw a leg kick in the 3rd when Derek Lewis was in the pocket with him. Like he was not out at range. But I think that'll be a good fight. I think that'll be a good fight. 2 kickboxers. They're both from a kickboxing background.
Strikers. And it's going to be a great striking match.
Yeah. I'm going Overeem. I agree with you. Overeem and Sanhagen. And then we'll say Michael Johnson beats Clay Guido. And Dariush. I think they win. So, it's our first MMA podcast. Hope it went well. Just us kind of talking about it, saying our thoughts and stuff. We're such fans of the sport. Figured we're so much fans that we're like, why not start a podcast and just talk about something that we're passionate about. If there's any questions or something y'all would like to talk about with us, please put it in the comments. I had a lot of fun doing it.
I had a lot of fun.
I mean, I just love talking about fighting. Yeah, I love the sport.
Definitely be something to look forward to. Those great cards, great fights.
I mean, it's the best time.
March 6th is going to be
259, UFC 259. Yeah, we'll make a video on that. We'll make a video covering that. It's just
a lot of fights.
3 title fights. Oh my gosh, it's spectacular. We'll make more of these in the future. Honestly, even if nobody's watching them, we're still gonna make them and still be sitting here talking about fighting. But it would be nice if there was some feedback or like, hey, maybe could y'all focus on this or could y'all talk about this? I'd love some questions and to mention them in the video. Yes, but thank you for joining us, and we appreciate it. We'll see you next time.